Today we're going to be scoping out at our local parking lot for a car in need of a design flip. I'll be hunting down a vehicle, snapping some photos, and using some creativity to modify and or redesign these vehicles into something that is super cool. This is Parking Lot Flip. All right, so welcome to the third parking lot flip. In today's parking lot flip, I decided to kind of throw all taste and sense of refined design out of the window and just do something ridiculous. And I found this early 2000s Beetle in the parking lot. I'm going to try to turn it into something really wild and crazy, and we're going to turn it into a beast of a Beetle. With this series, I try to do a gesture sketch, kind of an overall idea of what modifying certain cars may look like. Just quickly generate ideas, not necessarily spend too much time in the details, and I try to do it in under 30 minutes. This Beetle took about 35 minutes. There's a few details in here that I wanted to make sure we got put in place. Taking a little bit of inspiration from early RSR Beetles, which were kind of more racy Beetles of this time period with sharper edges. We're gonna turn this thing into some sort of mid-engine, just crazy track car sort of thing. So you can see now I'm starting to build out a mid-engine vent that flows in from the body side into this rear spoiler. That's really gonna add a lot of downforce. But mostly just look absolutely ridiculous. Trying to figure out a way to make this thing twist from the body side, the top surface that's in the door panel, all the way into this side facing surface that becomes part of the spoiler. But I'm going to leave it pretty minimal and just kind of capture the overall idea here. Not really spend too much time perfecting it. You can see I've added that light catcher down there too to just sharpen things up. And of course, to make the aerodynamics just really crazy good, we're gonna flow that light catcher into a front splitter that's gonna create this kind of seamless upward facing surface from the body side into the front. But again, mostly just looking for craziness, all out craziness on this particular one. When I was doing this one, it was definitely putting a smile on my face. It's just such a silly vehicle to do something like this too, but having a lot of fun here, putting these creases in the front splitter, making sure this grill or this air vent in the front is incorporated well. This is going to change later on, so not spending too much time here, but detailing out kind of the thickness that's in that splitter. And now we're going to start sharpening up some of these lines. In the RSR early Beetles, there was a bit more of a flat surface on this body side, and I'm going to incorporate a little bit of that as it flows into that bumper. I think that looks super cool, and is going along with some of the surfacing that you see in the hood crease there, as well as the ridiculous air vents that I've added. And we're going to, of course, take out the turn signals because you don't need that. I'm going to increase the crease on the front bumper here, just give it a little bit more of a sharp appearance. I don't want this thing to become overly aggressive, but I like the contrast of these sharp creases and some of these more aggressive elements with these very traditional cutesy Beetle kind of look. It's just a cool, fun contrast. Gonna add a little outward facing louver in the front fender. Maybe this is to release some heat from the brakes or the wheel well. And later on, I'm going to flow this graphic into some of the front surfacing. But we definitely need a lot more air coming in, of course. Whether or not these are actually functional, I don't know, but it's going to look cool. So let's black this out with a hard brush in Photoshop, and I'm going to create these panels that look sort of functional, but also flow into that upward or that vent above the headlamp. And do it on the other side, of course. Add a little bit of thickness with some lighter surfacing here. This is ridiculous. It looks like fangs feeding into this Beetle. And that grill needs to look a little bit more incorporated, so I'm going to add a little bit of a surface showing that it's kind of integrated and built into that. Gotta add different wheels, slightly larger, and tint the windows just to give it a little bit more of a nice balance. Kind of makes it appear visually thinner. So just hard brush, blacking this out, and then lowering the opacity. And adding this vent system that that flows from those louvers behind the headlamp into the front. Kind of looks like a smile, which I think is hilarious. And maybe this can add additional venting as well as just kind of creates this cool graphic. Now, this is a crazy Beetle, so we need a crazy Beetle theme. And one of the most poisonous beetles out there, which has venom something like 12 times stronger than a cobra, is the Whiplash Rove Beetle, which I just learned about. So we're going to call this thing Whiplash, and that's going to be the theme of the Beetle. And of course, we have to sign our work. So yeah, this thing is just nuts. I'm going to add a little bit of a perspective warp here and see what that ends up looking like. I'm trying to get this thing look a little bit more planted. The phone camera that I was using did not really do it justice very well. And then add a little bit of contrast with some overlay layers and some multiply layers and just see what that looks like. Adding a little bit of contrast to the background. I ended up not finalizing it with all these changes because I liked seeing the transition between the stock photo and the modified photo. But anyway, this is where we started, and this is the Whiplash Beetle where we ended up. What do you think? Did you enjoy this series? Please let me know down in the comments, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe this channel. It's really going to help me grow and provide more content for you guys. I really love doing these parking lot flips, so definitely give me some feedback. Are you loving them as much as I am? Yeah, just let me know, and have a great day.